Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Jamie?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's up, Mike?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Here.
Excellent. Hang on, let me fix this here.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oh, I am fantastic. How you guys doing? Everybody have a good holiday? Happy New Year.
Fantastic.
You guys ready to kick ass and take names in 2020 or what?
Absolutely.
All right, good. Good. So let me see if I can figure out who's on here. I don't think I've ever done this from an iPad before. I want to make sure it's recording. Yep, recording. All right, cool. So let's go around the horn. Jamie Rapone, you were the first one that I saw. So what's up? Let me know what's new and let me know what questions you got.
So I'm repping Team Rapone today because Brad's about to jump on a different call. So he was like, Tag, you're it. We're doing good. I think on the 4th, we have been booked solid from mid-December, like completely solid, no breaks, nothing in between. Brad did have a call or a question, so he can watch the call back and see if I asked it right. So we have had our spot for probably about 2.5 months now, and we're making profit off of it. But his question is I think in 2020, AirDNA is estimating that our spot could make about like 56, I think, gross. And he's wondering if we are hitting, again, let me make sure I'm asking this right. If we're hitting the occupancy rate, but not matching the dollar amount, should we do something along the lines of maybe upping the cleaning fees? Or is there anything that we can do to kind of boost the gross revenue, or is kind of just having our listing as is all that we can do?
How many reviews do you guys have?
Right now, so we've had 13 stays. I think we have at least 10. So that's another thing is Superhost, the analyzing period is ending. So we should find out, I think by January 13th or 14th, if we've made Superhost. We've met all of their criteria, so we should. And we kind of were looking around in the neighborhood actually today and think that hopefully Superhost would help. But I think we for sure have 9 or 10 reviews right now, and we've had 13 stays, 2 just left. So
okay, cool. So I think you still can give it a little time to season, like your listing to season. Yeah. So like this place, we are at the Chalet in the Sky, the first one, right? And for probably, so when I first launched it, I tried to like maximize my revenue. And I'll be honest, like our occupancy was kind of spotty and it kind of sucked. And I actually talked to Scott and Heidi Huggins for a while, who were in M1. And they were like, I don't know, man. They were like, when we launched ours, we just kept the prices low until we got a bunch of reviews. And I was like, okay, so I'll try that. And so I dropped my rates and got as many people through there as possible until I had, I don't know, probably 20 something 5-star reviews. And then I slowly let it creep back up. Just because at that point, like I was starting to build a track record. But like, if you think of it from a consumer standpoint, if I'm like, we're going to Nashville in a few weeks for a conference. So as I'm scrolling through, I'm like, all right, this one's got 10 5-star reviews. This one has 30. I'm probably going to stay at the guy that has 30, or maybe not, just because it's me and I want to give the new guy a shot. But most people would automatically go for the one with 30, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like that would be like the mindset. Okay. And the only other thing that I would say is with AirDNA, it's good that you guys are like on par with their quote unquote occupancy, but I care more about the revenue. And like I had a conversation with a new client 2 days ago about this, where they're like, what should our occupancy be? And I was like, I don't care. I'm like, how much money do you need to make?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And they were like, well, our monthly nut is about $1,450 a month on this property. I'm like, okay, cool. So I know in my head, I don't care what the occupancy rate is. As long as I can net you at least that much every month, like we're good. I'm not like costing you money.
Okay.
Then it's like, okay, how much do we want to make? But I focus more on the revenue side than the occupancy side.
Okay.
A lot of people get so focused on, I got to have 100% occupancy. No, you don't. I mean, this place probably was 60% occupied this month, but I'll still net $4,000 on it because I won't lower the rate to attract shitheads, quite frankly.
Okay.
Because I played that game. And if I
Yeah.
go below a certain dollar amount, I just attract people that don't care and they're a pain in the ass.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So kind of leave it on the lower end just to attract more people is what you do. Yeah. And the other funny
and keep
thing.
keep your nightly minimums low. Like don't have like a 5-night minimum or anything like that. Like
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Even 1-night minimums just to get people through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think, and we also did what Danny suggested about removing the only criteria that we have for automated booking is the government ID. Other than that, like no reviews, anything like that, we lifted those restrictions as well.
So I would caveat that.
Okay.
And I'll edit that. I honestly don't even care if they have a license on their profile. What I care about is that they have their name, email, phone number, and 1 positive review from another host. If they don't have that, they're not instantly booking my place.
Got it.
Because you're rolling the dice.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we've had I followed up with what was it, the one that kind of disappeared. The guest, she finally got back to me and had a family emergency that same day that they landed and had to turn around. But it was like 3 days before she responded. And then the guest before her looked on my cameras and they had a dog. And so I contacted Airbnb immediately and found out that it was a service dog, and service dogs don't fall under the pet category. And they're allowed to stay no matter what. And it's discrimination if you don't allow them to stay. But like kind of gently reminded her that you should at least let your host know that you have a service dog or whatever. So I was like, well, that was two interesting learning curves back to back, but okay.
Yeah. And if you ever catch heat for that, just using as an example, like my mother-in-law is like deathly allergic to dogs. So I have a strict no dog rule, but I caught my cleaner taking her dog here when she was cleaning because she needed to, for whatever reason. And I caught it on the camera and my mother-in-law came up and I had to take her to the freaking hospital.
Oh no.
So if somebody's like, it's a service animal, it's like, okay, great. I understand. I can't discriminate, but at the same time, you need to let me know because now I need to incur extra costs to deep clean and sanitize this property.
Exactly. You're right. And we did tell our cleaning crew, the same thing, like, please be extra vigilant when you're cleaning because we do have a no pets policy. And she said it was one of those, she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to forget to tell you guys, he's just a part of my family and I forgot. Okay, that's cool. You still have a dog and you understand it's a dog. Yeah. So tell us, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. But other than that, everybody's been pretty smooth sailing. It's just those 2 back to back. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. A lot of it too, guys, I'm not going to bullshit you. Like every once in a while you get a guest that's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like we had one over, what was it, on Christmas or on Thanksgiving? That was like, I wanted to like punch this woman's husband because like she was so ridiculous. Like it drove me insane. But like, it's just part of the game. Like 1 out of every 100 is just going to drive you nuts. But at the end of the day, like I've got a vacation house that pays me every single month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you just deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but the pros definitely greatly outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No, I think that was it. So I'll have Brad rewatch this and let him know to just kind of drive up the ratings or the reviews before we start tinkering around too much with the pricing.
Sounds good. Cool. And when are you guys going back to enjoy it for yourselves?
So we are planning a all out June trip. Probably like a solid week, but the kids are like, we gave them a choice between either, 3 or 4 days at Disney or a couple of days at Universal. And because my daughter's super into Harry Potter and everything like that. So super into Harry Potter or anything like that. And they are clamoring to go to Disney Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios so they could build their own droids. I was like, okay, fine, whatever.
Sweet. That sounds exciting.
Both experiences, and the Star Wars is off the cheap.
Oh, okay, good. Because I thought it would be interesting to go, but as soon as we said that they could build their own Star Wars or lightsaber, they both were like, screw Universal, we're going to Disney. I was like, okay.
Lightsabers are $200 a piece, and the droids are $100. So
okay. Oh, okay. I mean, we're banking away for that. So we're gonna go like, not balls to the wall, go enjoy yourself, but like, keep it down to earth a little bit, but have fun, live your best life for the week.
The Star Wars was incredible, but
Nice.
the not to take any time away, but there's the one ride that opened up December 5th. You have to get in the park at 6 a.m. and get a boarding pass, or else you don't get on the ride.
Good Lord. Okay.
There 5:30 in the morning to get a boarding pass to go on this ride, and it's
Good
ridiculous.
God.
But it was amazing. It was so good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
There you go.
Nice. So speaking of Florida, Jamie number 2. What's up, Brad? You're looking swole. She lied. You were working out.
Yeah, he just got off the bike.
Yeah. I was
Nice.
So we answered your question, so you'll have to watch the recording back.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Cool.
I gotta get ready for my
Nice work.
So
All
yeah,
right.
we just got back yesterday from Florida, and I'm
Sweet.
going to share my screen and show you the property that we're looking at. Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Because we do have a couple questions. So this is the Zillow listing of the house. It's in a vacation area called Solera.
Yeah, Orlando's been a very, and other Jamie, you can probably attest to this. Looking in the Orlando region is such a unique experience. There's so much already built up to do this.
Yeah.
The entire area is built solely for the purpose of short-term rentals. They've even now got a tax instituted, the CDD tax for short-term rentals. They picked up on it quick.
Yeah.
And what we're at the same time, what we're finding, or what I found, is that you don't even really have to go to Airbnb much anymore. It's pretty much standardized in the entire area. You know what a townhouse is going to go for. You know what a house is going to go for. And the other thing I found with AirDNA is that often in a community, one of the two of the comps that it's pulling somehow is getting very skewed. You'll get gross income of 30, 40, 50, and then all of a sudden this 120 will show up out of nowhere. If you do the quick math, 120 is almost impossible. You would have to rent it 300 days of the year at like $450 a night when everything else is going for 140 a night, or 200 a night. It's just something, and it skews all the other numbers up. So.
Yeah. So this is the property. It's a town, 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath with a splash pool in the back. They're beautiful properties. They're fully furnished.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we were looking at comps. I mean, we're definitely going to try and negotiate a lower price. There's another unit 3 or 4 doors down on the same street. This one is a 1-minute walk to the amenities, and all the new ones that they're building right now are like across the main road and not really walking distance if you want to just send your kids off to the pool. So they've got a big pool. They've got a big water park. They've got, full restaurant and everything else on site. And then they have one of those, what is it?
Wave runners.
The wave runners.
Surf simulator.
Yeah, gym, teams.
Oh, nice.
All of the amenities are pretty sweet. And this literally is on the corner of being able to walk there. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
We threw it into AirDNA, and this is what it spits out. Now this, I know, Mike, you were saying the ADRs aren't that accurate, because when you go to Airbnb, these units and ones like them are renting pretty much at about 140 to about that 140, 150 per night before you pay for.
But that's right now.
Yeah.
They don't change that much. Like with AirDNA or Airbnb, of course, you can go out and rent anytime you want, right? You just change the dates.
Yeah.
Not change, and again, it makes sense with the whole Disney piece of it, but they don't change that much. Another issue here with this specific property is that it being they only sold them the Q2 of last year, so there's very little data on them.
Yeah.
That's another.
Okay.
So there's one big bedroom downstairs.
The other thing to factor in, guys, real quick, is your average daily rate on AirDNA is going to include cleaning fee and taxes, most likely.
Okay, then that would
So that will probably skew it up. And then again, that's why I reiterate, like I honestly don't really look at that. I look at the gross revenue to see if like I think I can make money on the deal, because the numbers get like really skewed that way when you look at it from a total gross standpoint. Because if it's $150 a night, like you're saying, that makes sense. And you tack on $100 cleaning fee over a few nights, that's another, $30 to $40. And then, it just goes up and up and up.
What I've been doing is going to Airbnb on these places, put in a 4-night stay, get your total that you get divided by 4, and there's your gross.
This is a general mock-up of one of the units that we looked at. So you're looking at 86% cash on cash return.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that? Yeah, I mean, if we come in with 78 grand in total rents, I mean, it's probably going to come in at around, if being conservative, let's say it comes in at 60 and we end up having 40 with costs, and we leave with 20 net. But even that is perfect.
So throw 60 grand where it says 78.9 and see what it looks like. I think you're still going to do very well, because you're still going to cash flow 1,000 something. Yeah, it's still a 36% return.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. That's the beauty of this. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a no-brainer.
So I guess the question that we have right now is, when you go on AirDNA, so the unit is held, both of the units that we're looking at, they're very similar, are being sold by someone who, they live outside of the country. So they're foreign
investors.
That was the same as us.
And they're being managed by a management company. And if you look on Airbnb, they're rented out pretty solidly for 3+ months.
Mm-hmm.
So my question right now is, okay, we're going to ask for the historical income that's coming on both of those properties so we can look at the numbers. But how would you manage that? Like, how would you, we'd like to be able to retain those 3 months of income, but how do you get a management company to either, like, do you let them run those ones and no new ones? Like, what would be your strategy on that? Yeah,
for sure. That's exactly what I would do, especially for you guys coming out the gate. I mean, if it's 3 months of booked revenue, even if they're taking a chunk, I would do it, right? Like, and I would just come up with an agreement, just have a conversation with them. Just be like, listen, we're planning on doing this. We've been getting educated. This is what we're doing. We're building a business around this. Obviously, you guys have generated some good business over the next few months. We appreciate that. We're happy to compensate you for that. But effective whatever date, like, you're taking it over. You're not giving them any more bookings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like to add into that conversation just to see. I'm curious to see if any of these management companies are starting to lean towards being leaner, if you will. Like, for example, in your courses, you talk about the runner and the handyman. I wonder if there's an opportunity where some of these management companies are starting to say, look, some people are Airbnb on their own, but they're far away and they still need a physical person on site, and if they'll, at a reduced cost, be that person. Change your furnace filter.
So you basically want them to be like a handyman?
Maybe. We don't know whether or not they do that. Here's
you can try. I found, for me, I've tried to do that up here in New Hampshire, because it's tough to find, like, quite frankly, reliable people. And unless I give them the whole shebang, like, they don't want anything to do with me, quite frankly.
But that's the beauty of Orlando, right? Because there's thousands. So that's why I'm curious to see if there's an appetite down there, because there's just so many of these, as opposed to, here in Pennsylvania, you and Mass.
So we actually found a general handyman off of TaskRabbit in Orlando, and he saved our ass when we were replacing the washer and dryer. So we have a pretty reliable handyman that we could give you his name off of TaskRabbit. He's reasonably priced, and he legit saved our ass because the washer and dryer, when it was getting replaced, it had a little bit of water in it. So Best Buy didn't take it away from us, kind of left the washer and dryer out in the unit, and then left. And we had a guest checking in the next day. So the handyman, Brad, was able to text him and give him the situation. He said, yeah, let me call my buddy and see if we can make it tomorrow. And they did the install within 2 hours and like made it look like it was never there. The cleaning person was there like right away behind them, cleaning up as they went. So completely saved our ass like with that. And because both bathroom, upstairs bathroom and master closet would have been rendered useless for the entire weekend. Yeah. So
have you guys gone through, and thank you for bringing that up, Jamie. Have you guys gone through the program? I think it's week 4 where I talk about how to build the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going through that now. Yeah.
Because it's exactly what Jamie just said.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had good luck on, I like Thumbtack better than Handy because, so we've been using Handy for the build out because we have such a big account with Wayfair now that they'll actually send people from Handy, but I can't pick who I want from Handy. They just send a person. But Thumbtack, I can go and read the reviews and pick the one that I want, and they'll go. And then I just talk to them, get their phone number, and then I kind of cut the middleman out and just work with them directly. So like that's what I did for North Carolina. Although I think, did we get Jonathan through Handy? We did. We got lucky with him though.
Mm-hmm.
But I've liked, yeah, we've got lucky a few times with Handy. I don't know. I'm a control freak, so I like to pick who I want to work with, but I've had pretty good luck with Handy. I'd say 75-25. 25% of the people were like dumb, and I actually fix some stuff. Or high, yeah, or high. But
oh well, you know.
But I mean, they got the job done either way. But I like Thumbtack personally. Or what was the one that you mentioned, Jamie? TaskRabbit.
TaskRabbit. Yep.
Yeah.
And we kind of did the same thing. We found him through TaskRabbit. We were there when he was there in Orlando in October and got his personal information. So then we were kind of able to still book him through TaskRabbit, but clear it with him before we booked him to make sure he could actually do it before we put out a request.
The other thing, Jamie B, to do, and I did this for my brother's beach house in Florida, is talk to your real estate agent. And I was like, hey, who would you recommend for handymen? Like that like and trust. And that's how I got a handyman for the Destin property.
She's already pushing management companies. She's looking at us funny saying, you want to do this on your own? But
it's the same realtor that Jamie and Brad use.
Yeah, I was gonna say ours. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So we were like, no, that's cool. That's nice, but no.
Handyman's the way to go. We're just curious to see what this management switch over. Just like you
what
said,
that might look like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with the let's say we let them manage out those 3 months, can we convert them to our Airbnb listing so they're leaving the reviews on our property?
The management company.
I think it's all up for negotiation with them. I think they're probably not going to want to do that because it's a pain in the ass for them to kind of transfer a reservation onto some new Airbnb account. Like it'd be a headache. Yeah, I don't see them wanting to do that. But what you could do is make sure you screenshot all of the reviews that you have on that account right now, and then have them, and you can upload them as photos.
Yeah. And can you, we're thinking, okay, well, we would want to convert to those things before we take over the listings. But again, if the management company, because we're seeing reviews right now listed saying that the amenities are stark, that there's never enough toilet paper, they haven't left enough amenities for the guests, and that's not the experience that we want to give. So
yeah, then I wouldn't want to transfer the listing to you guys then anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this particular one has that many, so
No, it does.
Does
It's
it?
booked
Okay.
up for 3 months, so.
What, and I know we're monopolizing your time here. One last one I have is a bit different now. Now this is real estate sales and taxes. Have you heard of anything along the line? So first of all, reporting depreciation of the house and the furniture within the house because it's a short-term rental. My understanding is that you can appreciate 20% every year of the house worth. And then it's your total furniture divided by 5, depreciating over 5 years on your taxes. Have you heard of this, and are you doing this?
I would recommend talking to your CPA. I pretty much wrote off like this place. All the other ones that I have, I've managed, so I don't own the assets, so it's a little different.
Right.
But for this one, I pretty much maxed out my write-off year one because we put about 25 grand into it. And I wrote off like the majority of that. So whether that's right or wrong, I don't want to give you like advice. I was just a little more aggressive, but it honestly depends on your bookkeeper. And then as far as like, same thing with like overall depreciation, like you, obviously you'll get a piece of that every year, but as far as the furnishing goes, some folks are more aggressive than others, and it really just depends on your CPA.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm excited for you guys. I love that you like jumped in, you're taking action, you're like doing the work, you're making shit happen. So I love that. So thank you guys.
We're gonna have to
Love
have a coach call with you soon. We'll let you know.
All right. You let me know when you guys are ready to pull the trigger.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Daniel, you were the next one that was up. Daniel Feeberger. If I butcher that, buddy, I apologize.
No worries. You got it right, actually. Most people say Feeberger, but that was perfect. I'm actually down in South Florida right now with Chad. I've been down here for a couple weeks. And it's been great to be here in person. It's allowed us to move a lot faster than when I've been back in New Jersey. So we've continued to move forward. The last time we spoke, I was talking about trouble I was having with contacting realtors in Florida, in South Florida, and them not being super responsive to what we were doing. And you gave me the recommendation of driving for dollars. We did that. We found, I think, a good like 14, 15 properties in a few cities where we spent a couple of days driving around a few places in South Florida. Tried calling them, and it's been the holidays, so haven't been a ton of responses so far, which is expected. But either later this week or early next week, hopefully I'll start getting some responses and be able to go see the properties in person. And then in addition to that, Chad has a contact in Philadelphia who works for a property management company who has gotten a list for some properties where the owners might be interested as well. And we have a couple properties that we're also interested in where the numbers look good. So we'll hopefully go up there sometime in the next week or so to go see the properties in person and, see if we can move forward on them. I did just have a question about the deals are the best deal that we're looking at so far. And I just wanted to run through the numbers with you, just like Jamie did, and see, if there's anything that we are doing wrong, and just get your thoughts on the deal, do a bit of a deeper dive.
Yeah, whip it up. Let's see what we got.
All right. Let's see. All right. Can you see what I'm seeing? I don't have it in your lease deal database in the same format that you have. I have it in a different spreadsheet, but all the information is the same. So the AirDNA numbers are here. It's a 1-1 property. It's an apartment in, I think, it's an apartment building that has 6 units, and this is a 1-1. The rent's about $1,400, and here's the expected revenue per month, expenses, net income, cash on cash ROI with an estimation of $8,000 in fixed costs. For recurring expenses, I'll take you to
time out.
Yeah.
So going forward, I need you to put it in that format because I can
Sorry.
read it quickly. I can't tell, I can't analyze your expenses because they're all lumped together.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll take it to the other sheet. So this is all the utilities that we think about paying. And these are estimates just using kind of Numbeo and things like that. I just want to see if that looks good to you. And additionally, here are the estimates for insurance supplies and other expenses as well.
Go over to, what is it? What's the co-host deal analyzer? Is that my deal analyzer?
No, that's just a separate spreadsheet I have. It's not really built out in the same way. It's not really ready to be presentable. It's just this sheet, it's just this sheet. The property's near Center City in Philadelphia. So here's the.
Would it make more sense if we put it on yours and then came back to you tomorrow and just post it in the group or something?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Sure.
Let's do
All
that.
right, so yeah, let me get back to the normal screen. All right, so yeah, we'll get back to you with that. I do have a couple other questions, a few just mechanical ones, and then a couple more. So I just finished building out the website pretty much completely. I think I'll post a link to the website in the group to see if people can give some feedback on that. But it's up and it's live, and looks it's the best I could do, and it looks pretty good, so that's cool. On your website, I basically used yours as a model. On your website in the technology section, you wrote technology partners. I didn't know if you're actually partnered with them from like the the business that you use, or if that's like a legal term that you're allowed to use. I just didn't want to ask you about that.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I just put it as that because that's who we use. And quite frankly, I promote the hell out of those. And I need to update it. I told you guys, like, the website is, it's nice when you're starting out because it gives you like some credibility. But like, nobody asks me any questions about my website anymore. And I'm actually redesigning it in Q1 to actually make it functional, because right now it doesn't even talk about any of the other states that we operate in or anything else. So anyway, but it's like basically having a one-page business card, like online.
Sure.
And so I would make sure, I think I had like properly up there still, like make sure you have like turnover B&B and like whatever partners that you actually are working with, whatever technology you're actually working with, like use those logos.
Right. Yeah. And I was just thinking, so both the legality of using the term partners and the legality of using the logos on the website. I just wanted to know whether you, I don't know, had any trouble with that, or when you were looking into it originally, like having problems, or if it's probably, I mean, we're doing,
I have not
promoting them, if anything, so I wouldn't imagine anything negative.
Yeah.
If that would be good to do.
I have not, and I've just seen other folks have similar setups, so I never really questioned it, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Second question is about Airbnb titling. So both you and a couple other articles and things that I was reading through heavily recommend the use of emojis or icons in the title to separate them, both with color and a different type of format, when people are scrolling through. And I saw that on Airbnb. It mentions specifically that emojis are technically a violation of their policy. So I wanted to know. Yeah,
they updated that recently, unfortunately.
So is that something, do you think it's risky enough to take them all out, or do you think they'll actually pursue punishment?
I mean, I still have them on a bunch of mine. I mean, I don't know. I talk to them pretty regularly, and I have yet to get a slap on the wrist. So I do know though, as you scale, like some other platforms, like they won't accept them. Like you physically can't input them on some other platforms. So. Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think the worst that they would do? Just ask you to take them down? Like my account, like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we will definitely be using those in the titles for the properties that we'll have. And then the last question I have for you is we were contacting property management companies because, originally this Chad's contact was the one who got us these properties in Philly. Have you had success with contacting, or have you, in the past contacted property management companies to see about, like, even with the lease model, you just being the tenant and the property management company getting their cut, and it kind of being a symbiotic relationship among all of you?
I haven't gone that route because you're just adding you're adding a middleman, because like I was telling you guys before, like you're going to have to convince the property manager that this is a good idea for them. And then they're going to have to convince the owner that it's a good idea for them. And they're not going to pitch it nearly as good as you are.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, like we're 100% on like getting to the owners, but for sale by owner in several towns on Craigslist has yielded almost nothing. So the driving for dollars we can do, but that's super time consuming. And I'm just not sure what the best thing to do when Craigslist is have we had any for sale by owner by Craigslist? One?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple. It's just, it's a completely unregulated website. So it's tough. And it might, again, just be the markets we've been looking into. But we were just thinking of this property management idea as another option for potentially finding some deal flow, especially we were thinking like they do have connections to a bunch of properties that are going to be needing tenants. So long,
if you go with the lease model, I think it would work. If you go try and co-host it, I think it's going to be really freaking tough.
Well, we only really want to lease. Like when I'm pitching people, like my neighbor at one of my Airbnbs, I think we're going to end up co-hosting. We're going to lease her place. I didn't pitch her on the co-host. I pitched on the lease, and then if she was unsure, then I would go to the co-host as like my backup plan or whatever.
Okay. So what I would do, and again, I'm basically giving you advice on shit that I have not done. So I want to like disclose that because I have not gone to large property management companies to do that. So that's why I'm just giving you guys the route that I took. But if I was going to do that approach, I think it's just figuring out the nicest places in town. They don't really need your business. We're in a really good economic time right now. Like their vacancy rates are not going to be very high.
Okay.
They're not going to need your business. However, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be open to it. I would think that the lower hanging fruit would be kind of a mom and pop that owns like 20 units or a 30 unit building, not like a REIT that has like 100 units to 200 units.
Agreed.
Austin says, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our thought process is that if we can broach the relationship with the property management, it's a lot of front end effort. But if you do it right, now they have you might have their whole book at your disposal because they like you and you're paying on time and you're a good customer.
I totally get it. Totally get it. A lot of them, it's just finding the right one.
Sure. Yeah.
If you get in the right door, then it will be very quick to scale, which is great.
Okay, great. So we'll definitely keep looking into that model, and if it works, we'll be happy to report back and see if anybody else know what worked well or didn't, because it could be a good thing for others to look into as well.
Yeah, for sure. So again, some of my friends that have gone like the lease arbitrage model, like through and through, and they have hundreds of units, even they typically avoid the large apartment complexes. They'll go to that mom and pop owner that has, like I said, 20 to 50 units per building. Anything bigger than that, you're going to be dealing with like an Avalon or like a large, like my wife's former company that she used to work for, that like it's going to be a lot harder to sell them. So go for the lower hanging fruit.
Aren't those buildings also more often than not managed by small property management companies, or you're talking about people that just manage it themselves?
No, I'm saying both. Even if it's a small time management company, it's not like you're dealing with a national property management company where they're just like, no, like they don't even want to hear you talk. They're like, no, not worth my time. Like, no.
All right. So we'll try to narrow our focus.
A smaller one that's like, you know what, this is going to make my life way easier. I'm going to have a higher vacancy, and higher occupancy. I'm not going to have to do anything. Great.
Yeah. So in your markets that you're working in, when you go to for sale by owner on Craigslist, are you getting like a reasonable amount of properties in it? Because we're literally getting like zero.
It's probably 5 to 10% of all of them. Like it's a very small amount. Yeah. Okay. Very, very small. Like maybe 5 to 10, like tops.
But when you get one,
but that's what I'm saying. That's why I was hitting that list like 3 times a day to like see which ones are popping up.
All right. Well, thanks, Mike.
No problem. And if you guys can make it to any real estate meetups.
Yeah.
We're going Saturday. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, that's where a lot of my like really good leads came from. It's just meeting people.
Yeah. We're going to, as the new year starts and people are back to work, we're going to try to add as much as possible in person, face to face, so we can, people can understand what we're about, as opposed to just a voice over the phone.
Awesome. Love it.
Thank you. Cool.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem, guys. All right. Who do we have? Mr. Linney, what's up, buddy?
Nothing
I'm
much,
glad you
guys.
graced us with your presence.
Hey, man, if I can help anyway. No, I was talking to somebody the other day. It really is about getting 1 or 2 units, and those 1 or 2 units are going to open the door for all of them. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And so just like buying your first investment property, getting, it's really about who you're doing it for too, right? Like I'm doing it for an investor out of Austin. Well, he's obsessed with the model now. So he's like buying 28 units that he wants me to do the whole thing. So it's really about who you're lining yourself to. Same with the 50 unit hotel that we're doing. This just started from little steps. You're doing your own houses and then you get to 20 and then so on and so on. So you just have to keep grinding. But I agree with Mike. It's meetups, 100%. And just telling everybody what you do. I think the most important thing is don't worry about all the other stuff. Websites, none of that shit. Like make money for your investors and the rest of the stuff will take care of itself. Because that guy's going to go, oh man. And see, what I found, this is a little trick. If you work with investors that are long-term buy and hold investors and they're getting 150 to 200 a month, if you can show them 500, just 500, they think you hung the moon. So like, I think everything in life is about entry point, right? And if the nut is so big, like 4,000, 5,000, you got to hit to put that stress on yourself. You can't do it. So like, don't say yes to every little property. Like the numbers have to make sense. I think that's my number one thing I realized, but that's just me.
Thanks, buddy. I think you're spot on. I'm glad you were making it. And I owe you a phone call on that other hotel deal. I apologize.
Whatever. You don't care. No, I'm just kidding. The construction's taken a long time on that one. And I've been helping Matt out with his hotel. So I'm kind of getting free training for our hotel experience. So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Ed Taylor, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, I'm doing well. I've got real things going on in the one that we have. Today, having a difficult guest. They've checked out already, which is great. But from soup to nuts, really just a pain in the arse.
We talked about these earlier. Did I not call it, guys?
If I can just give you a very brief summary of it, see what you think. They asked for an early check-in. I had an orphan day before it. I suggested they booked it the day, offered them a discount. They asked for a bigger discount. Anyway, we settled on them booking the day. Unfortunately, my cleaner did not adjust her schedule when I asked her to. So I caught it and I told them the cleaner's not coming. So you're going to turn up to, I didn't have any time, they're about 20 minutes away. You're going to turn up to a house that's not ready yet, very sorry. I told them they can have the night for free and the cleaner's on their way to sort it out, which they did. They turned up, cleaned it. Then the guest asked me a ton of questions over the 3 days they were there. Looked like they had a very good time and were all sweetness and light when they were asking for things and being given things. When they came to leaving, they asked for a late checkout and I told them that we can't really do that because it's back to back. But they took it anyway. Left a whole bunch of trash in there, trashed both the decks. They're covered in cigarette butts and ash and party streamers and everything's ground into the snow. And they took out 8 bags of garbage, put them in the neighbor's trash can, so it looked like they'd taken it away. My cleaner was parked behind them, so she saw them doing all of this, so she knows that it was them. So I got back. Yeah.
Quick time out. So if that happens again and your cleaner's on site, get that shit on video.
Yeah,
photo.
Yeah, I should have done. She said she should have done it too. But,
yeah. Just a point to bring up for her going forward.
it's a good learning. I've learned a lot through this, including the snowplow turned up and plowed through our handrail and all kinds of, just like this one guest has taught me almost all the things. I'm sure there's more things to learn, but anyway, I told the guest, I'm sorry, but you guys left so much trash and mess and everything. We're gonna have to charge you for it. We told you in the instructions, and they're saying, I won't bore you with the whole story because there's a whole stream of texts I got today, but effectively they're denying they did it, asking for pictures of it, which I have, and I'm saying, look, we'll this is the charge. I told you up front, and they're saying, I'm going to leave you a bad review and blah blah blah. And I said, well, I can also leave you a review, and I told you about the charges.
Is that all on Airbnb though? Did they communicate that through Airbnb?
The communication, unfortunately, it's a lot of our communication is through until today was through Airbnb. But
make sure going forward, make sure all of that shit has to go on the platform, because then when you call Airbnb, they can see that whole conversation.
Got it. Okay.
So like when I get a pain in the ass guest now, they'll call me, text me, I won't even answer. The thing I'll say is, I'm sorry, we need to communicate through the Airbnb app.
Great. Okay.
And then that way I've got a whole track record. But I feel your pain. Before you got on, I was explaining I had a guest like this on Thanksgiving that was driving me insane. So driving my wife insane. Sorry.
It's unfortunate.
She's sitting over here quietly.
Hey, I feel your pain too. I felt like I was doing everything I could and trying to go out of my way to help them. And I know there's a little bit in there for me in terms of personal growth to be a little, maybe a little more systematic, a little not tougher. I still want to be friendly, but a little bit more just professional and matter of fact about the rules and the booking, and tighten up all of my systems so cleanings don't get missed, and systems for checking things afterwards, and then cleaners checking in, and all the things that I need to learn through this, which is great. So I'm happy to be feeling this pain, but it's still painful, and they're fighting me on it. And I don't know, do we go to Airbnb? Apart from that, it's been great. Fully booked all the way through to the beginning of launch. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. I want to learn this the best way I can. So do we now go to I called Airbnb and tried to ask what their policy is. They kind of talked me through it. But because the guest's in denial, I guess we just go through mediation.
So did you, in the app, you basically send a request for money? Did you do that?
I haven't done it yet, but I need to do that. Yeah.
Okay. So going forward, I don't know how strict they are on it now, but it will definitely help your case. If going forward, you have your cleaners take photos of everything immediately, they send it to you, you put in the claim request for money right away before the next guest checks in. Because that used to be their policy. You have to submit it before the next guest checks in. So you send the request for money. They have 3 days to either accept it or ignore it. And then after those 3 days, then it's on you to follow up with Airbnb, which is kind of a sucky system. It sucks. Like, it should automatically kick to them, but it doesn't. So you have to follow up with them.
Okay. I called Airbnb and asked them that because I thought that was the case. They told me that I didn't have to. I just have to do it within 60 days, which seemed like odd to me.
Okay.
But maybe they've changed their policy on it.
Yeah, they definitely lighten that up, which is good.
Would you contact the guest? I feel like maybe a mistake of mine was to over-communicate with the guest, especially through text. Instead of I didn't want to just cold out of the blue, which might be me being too nice in the piece that I have to learn, but cold out of the blue, send them a request for money. I wanted to explain it with the request for money, but that didn't get me anywhere because it's got me more fight. So
yeah, and you'll get a feel when you posted that on Facebook. Austin called it right away. I knew,
totally. Yeah.
Because when you see that many guests and you see the mess, like it's just it's like, yep, this is gonna be a pain in the ass guest. You just know it, right? But this guest that I was talking about earlier, 2 months leading up to this reservation was asked. I was like, Jesus Christ, please cancel your reservation. Like,
she was the same. This one was the same. Yeah, constantly asking stuff and can't use the dryer and this is broken and that doesn't work. I mean, everything's fine. And denial of all of it's a total mess there. It's costing us 260 to 300 more on top of the cleaning to make it right. Just in cleaning.
So get some, just get receipts from your cleaners too.
Yeah.
So then you can submit that.
Yeah.
So that and it doesn't look like you're just like making a number up.
Yeah. I broke it down for her, but I offered her to send her the invoice too. Do you? Yeah. I mean, I guess I've learned some things, and thank you for those answers. And now we just take it through the process. And any advice on should I worry about trying to not get a bad review, or if just surrender, and if I get one, make the answer to it? I have a very good backup story. So gave him a free night and a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm going to see if I can put you on speaker without getting an echo. I don't know how this is going to work. Maybe not. How long were you on the phone with Airbnb today, trying to get that review taken away? Yeah, my wife was on the phone regarding that pain in the ass guest that left us a crappy review. She was on the phone with the Superhost line for an hour, and they were basically like, "Yeah, we can't take it down." So it is what it is. Like, I really don't. It's tough at first because like you put a. Sorry, I'm just gonna put you on speaker for me for a second. Hopefully.
They couldn't take it down because there was no profanity used in their review, but also they didn't bring up any claims that we had against them. So I don't know if you have any damage claims. So if the reviewer brought up such claims, then that's like your personal information, and they would have then removed the review.
So if the person is going to try and blackmail you for a bad review, maybe they will take it down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right, I guess I can send them the text information or whatever, if that counts. Yeah, it's good to know just to communicate through the app. And I guess now is the point where I should definitely put in that resolution claim. And just follow it through and see if they respond to it. I tell them I can review you too. They have 0 reviews, so I'm sure they don't want one saying don't have this person stay. They're a bunch of slobs and they will wreck your house. Yeah, I don't like it. It just feels like messy. I hate this the feeling of it. I tried to give them a really good time, and they don't give a shit. I guess I just have to get used to that.
Yeah, and again, it's tough. I was literally probably right around the same point, Ed, as you. I was like maybe a month in here, and somebody trashed it like bad, and I was like so pissed because like we put so much time and effort into renovating it and creating a good experience, and they could have cared less. But that's honestly like 1 in 100. Like seriously, like if I know I've seen the place, it looks amazing. Like 1 out of 100 is going to be a pain in the ass. It's just, I'm not going to lie.
Cool.
It's just part of the deal.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with customer service, which I have done a bit in the past. It's a numbers game before you get someone who's really difficult, and just being systematic and professional. Try not to take, it's our home too, like same with you.
Yeah, the only thing that I would suggest, so you don't leave money on the table, is if you have an issue where they get to the property and it's not ready, I will send them anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on the size of the group, and say, hey, so sorry, go get dinner on me, as opposed to giving them $300 a night or whatever your reservation was. Say, hey, let me take you out to dinner. Go get dinner on me, and when you get back, it'll be ready for you. So then that way you're not losing 300 a night or whatever your nightly rate is.
Yeah.
You're going to lose $100.
It was 420
Yeah.
that night. And I thought giving them that was a nice thing to do. Then who am I?
Yeah.
So it was just tricky because they turned up. She's been using a lot of the leverage of the fact the cleaner didn't turn up, and like you're still charging me for it, and like I can tell that there's no reasoning through this kind of thing. It can be as nice and professional as possible, but she had a bunch of kids with her, and it was near bedtime, and I just thought the last thing I want to do is tell them to book another place, go sit in the car, go away and come back. So I just let them go in. But I knew, because I remember your story about booking somebody into another one, and I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. But it's like New Year's Eve in Big Bear was just slammed, so booked. I didn't think there was any chance of doing that. Sending them away, I thought she was getting more and more angry the closer to the finishing of the cleaning. And then, anyway.
Yeah, it is what it is. You're not going to please them all, but
no.
It's real, you made it through.
It's real.
Yeah.
I like that, and there's been some growth in it for me, and learning all the places where my systems weren't tight, catching stuff, and I found a ton of them, so I can put a lot of it on myself, and I'm trying to take full responsibility for it all. So I think it's good, but still stings a little bit. Anyway,
it's part of the growing. It's all good, buddy.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Dan, what's going on, man? Good to have you on here.
Oh, Mike, how are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
My first coaching call.
Yeah, I love it. How you doing? How can I help?
So I bought a property in Cleveland. That's where I'm from. I live in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing the rehab on it. It's taking a little longer than I was hoping, but it's all good. I'm doing putting in new kitchen, bathroom, floors, all that kind of stuff. It's a single family home. It's a bungalow, two bedrooms in the first floor, one on the second. With the August locks, those go on both the front and the back door. Is that correct?
I usually just put it on the front.
So
you just have them use one door.
You don't worry about them like using the back door and then locking themselves, or like leaving it open when they leave?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, if you're worried about that, like I've got a property in like a gentrifying area, we'll call it right now. And I just put Ring cameras all over that place.
Okay.
So like I have eyes on the back door, on the side door, and on the front door.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I just put the Ring on the front door. I might add another one.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think adding another August is going to solve your problem because, well, yes and no. Like they could still leave it unlocked. You can set August to automatically lock when they leave after 2 minutes. So you could do that, but I don't think you need to spend the money. I think you could probably get away with just having a Ring. Because you don't want to encourage them using the back door either.
Yeah, exactly. My plan also was to I installed a washer and dryer hookup in the kitchen. So I'm gonna, it'll be like a full size stackable, nice washer and dryer. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna let them go in the guests go in the basement. So I was thinking about just putting like a keypad lock that goes down to the basement, and that could be a nice little closet area where the cleaners can just like punch in the code, go downstairs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And even if it's like, I don't know if it's like a nice clean basement or whatever, but the property I was just talking about, same kind of deal where it's like almost more like a crawl space, but there's like a back entryway where I'm just going to go to Target and spend $70 on like a storage cabinet and then just put like a latch on it that can lock. So the cleaners will have access to that. Yeah, you could get a simple keypad for that basement.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's all I really got for today. I'm just waiting for this house to be done. I'm gonna go back up there mid-January. and get it all set up.
I think somebody's overtired over here. We're on a coaching call here, lady.
It's a good look, Mike. It's a good look.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And Dan, kudos to you on the marathon, buddy. I saw that post. That's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah. That was my second one.
You beat me. I ran it last year in 4:52.
Really?
Yep.
I was flying the first half. I did it in like 2 hours. Second half, dude.
Same thing.
The second half,
died.
I just lost it. I was so much pain. My legs just gave out.
Yep.
But it was a lot of fun.
Kudos to you, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Let's see. Lucas, I think you're the last one, buddy.
Hello.
What's going on?
Oh, falling asleep. It's been a busy week. Got the first one up and listed.
Love it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Photos look good, buddy. Nice job.
Yeah, actually it turned out really well considering it was a bit of a shit show because the property was supposed to furnish it, and then for a flat fee was supposed to stage it and basically have it all ready for us. But when we accepted it, we kind of figured that walking into it, there's going to be a gap between what they were actually going to provide us and what we needed the suite to be. So when we walked into it, it was, not even close to what we, thought they would have done. So it took a lot longer going through and basically reassessing what they had in there and pulling out shit that wasn't going to work for us, and then figuring out how to fill the holes. And it took a bit longer. I was down there for a total of 11 days working over the holidays. And it kind of got worse because on the 23rd, I ended up getting hit with the flu. So I was working on it while my partner was away on holidays with the flu. And it was shitty, but it was good at the same time because I got to actually go through and really get to see what it takes to be there for the build from day one to the end. And it feels good having it done. It's listed. Listing is probably like 80-90% complete. I don't think we have our first booking yet, but there's still a couple of small things to do. Actually, I just drove up here really quickly this afternoon so I could print off my home manual and stuff like that. And I was going to run back there tonight. It's a 2.5-hour drive, but the printing shop here won't have my stuff done till the morning. So I'll get to sleep in my own bed tonight and then jump in the car and head back south to put the finishing touches on it.
Nice. Good for you, man. So how can you, or who can you leverage so you don't have to drive 2.5 hours to do a lot of the stuff that you're doing now?
Well, my business partner, actually, he's headed back there on the 6th and could take the stuff with him. But in all honesty, being my first property, I really want to go and put the finishing touches on it since I've been there since day one, so I can kind of walk away from it knowing that everything is just right. And obviously going forward, picking up properties, I want to be doing as little of this as possible. But for this one, I don't mind doing the round trip to go drop off the manual and like I say, spend the holidays in there by myself getting it set up. I did get kind of emotionally invested into this property, which I was trying to avoid to do. But I mean, this has been kind of a milestone in many senses. So this one I don't mind getting emotionally involved in or attached to. So it was a good experience all around. It was sicker than a dog.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. That sucks that you dealt with that over the holiday, but it's kind of like graduating boot camp now. You made it.
Yeah, I went through a drive-through there on Boxing Day. I was going, doing discount shopping on Boxing Day when we were feeling like shit. I pulled into a drive-through and I was trying to put my order in, they could not understand me. So I had to actually go in and talk to the cashier because I just had no voice. But I got my coffee. I got going. So yeah, I guess now going forward, I'm just not 100% clear on what apps I should be using to integrate to help automate this. Like my August locks, I have set up on Airbnb, but I'm not too sure how August lock is supposed to, is it supposed to notify turnover B&B? Because I signed up to turnover, but I haven't actually set it up. So I don't know how that's supposed to work.
So turnover B&B is just how you manage your cleaners.
Yeah.
So you're going to basically create a code for your cleaners with August.
Yeah.
So they'll have their code. So then anytime that they go to the property, like you'll have a history.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to want to use Smart B&B. There's a whole
Yeah.
training in there on how to use Smart B&B.
Yeah, well, I got
that's kind of your hub.
I got Smart B&B. Again, it's set up, but this is kind of the first evening to kind of chill out. So I should be getting on that and figuring out how to set that up. But I am logged in there. I don't have it set up. But I'm this property is unique in the sense that I have on-site housekeeping. So I can basically sit there and watch for my first guest to check out and maybe give it a little bit to check with my on-site property manager to see if she's got the notification that they've checked out and see how she's going to go about actually activating her cleaners. So the first week or so, I'm going to be babysitting a little bit, watching the August lock and the ring, make sure the guests check out, and then stay in contact with my property manager to see how she was notified or if she got notified, because I'd imagine August, like I gave her access to the August, like I invited her as an always guest, I guess. So she's probably going to get notifications as people or as that lock's being utilized, right? Is that the only way?
She's not an owner. She's just a user.
Oh, so only I'm getting those notifications.
Yeah.
Oh,
you could change it if you want, but I don't think you're going to want to do that because then she could you don't want to do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
So use Smart B&B, watch the training on Smart B&B, and then it'll send them notifications when it's ready to be cleaned.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, 24 hours before the cleaning. So like, hey, we got a cleaning, checkouts at 11 tomorrow, show up by 11:30 and get it done by 2 or whatever time you have. But you can pre-program those in Smart B&B. The only other person that I ever granted access to August as an owner was my virtual assistant, so that she could send the codes to the guest because I didn't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
But other than that, nobody else got owner access.
No, right now I'm the only one with owner access. Even my business partner, I've just I've just given him guest access as well. Just because the way it's kind of been getting set up with him and I is I've been taking on kind of the a lot of the digital content, so like the home manual and all that kind of stuff I've been doing, and same with like all the technology side of things. Like I got the August app set up, I got the ring set up, I'm waiting for noise aware to show up, and all that's on my phone. I have the Ecobee 3 set up on my phone, so everything is basically set up so that the property is remotely managed off my device, not his. So yeah, which I don't mind. I don't mind having that control, I guess, for now.
Awesome.
But I am looking forward to having other people look after it for me after I figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, exactly. Learn it, and then you can manage it.
So Smart B&B is what I need to check out next.
Yep. And go on the course. There's a whole detailed training on how to set that up and all the automated messages. It's all in there.
Yeah, I remember going through that. It's just been a couple months or so. I'll go back.
Cool. Awesome. I think we got through everybody. So, any last minute questions?
Yeah, actually, so I put that deal into the, this is Daniel here, put the deal into the lease analyzer that you have set up. I just wanted to see if we could run through that real quick before we get off this call.
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here's the deal. Again, so it's in Philadelphia. It's near Center City, if you know the city, and it is a one bedroom, one bath apartment in a building that I think has.
Okay. I think your supplies look light.
Okay. What do you generally
I'd
assume?
go just be conservative and put $100. I don't think it'll be that much, but I would throw that in there for now. I don't know how old the building is. Again, electric and heat, electric, heat, water. Yeah, I mean, those are variables. I always just leave $100 in there just to be conservative. But
do you do that for one bedroom? Do you just kind of do that across the board?
I do it for 2 bedrooms, so that's why I'm like, is it half of that? I don't know.
But just to be very conservative, like 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's like ultra conservative.
Right.
Water, I don't think you're going to beat 100 for sure, but unless they're like taking 6-hour showers in there. I think you could leave the water at 50 probably, especially for a 1 bed. Travel cost 80, yeah. Okay. And the gross rent's at $33K. That is from AirDNA?
Yeah, these are all AirDNA projections.
Okay.
What are your thoughts
on
the turnover costs as well?
I mean, that's going to be specific to your market. I think it's reasonable, but again, it could vary. Like, I was shocked when I went to Florida and I'm paying $400 for a 4-bedroom house where I could pay, $175 in North Carolina for the same size house.
Okay. Yeah. Given the fact that, if you had $20 onto the cleaning fees and you have 7 turnovers a month, it's another, 140. So the numbers really.
Yeah. That number looks good to me based on locally, like my, not urban, but call it suburban properties that I pay about $60 for a 1-bedroom.
Okay, great. Yeah, Philly's like a relatively low cost of living city, which I imagine bleeds into hopefully not too expensive.
Yeah, and I would think typically for me and I only have 2 1-bedrooms, but my occupancy rates are usually pretty high with those.
Right.
And I don't want to project your markets just because it just caters to I don't know, anybody could stay in it.
Absolutely. And I know you've mentioned in the past and we've discussed like the AirDNA average daily rate and occupancy rates don't, it's not really important because they're using just comps of people who aren't using this type of system with price labs optimization and whatnot. So, ideally our occupancy is 90 to 100%, but with, whatever daily rate is in there. So just using the average, just using the annual revenue as a benchmark and see how this looks. But so overall.
Yeah. And I think these look very conservative, which is good. I always like to run them that way.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it totally up to you guys, but for something like this, even if you only made a few $100 a month, it's proof of concept and it helps build your credibility. Like, that's how I looked at it from the beginning. I just want to make sure I wasn't going to lose my shirt.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I've been thinking. Like a month ago or whatever, when I was looking into properties, I was being like ultra conservative, and I was just like, I really don't want to lose money. And now I'm thinking, like, in our worst case scenario, it's not that bad. Like it allows us to work through the kinks, understand all pieces of the model better, and it's the purchase of a learning experience. And in the very much worst case scenario.
And again, from a cash flow standpoint, this doesn't look like a high dollar, but from a cash on cash, like percentage return, it's a 35, almost 36% return, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
Now I will say in my experience, the 2 bedrooms have been the sweet spot for me from a cash flow standpoint. Like that 33 looks pretty average for what I see in some of my markets for like a 1 bed. When you go to a 2, it usually jumps over 40.
Okay.
But again, for a starter 1 bedroom, you're kind of keeping your startup costs low with, you know, I think depending on how you guys did it, now I pretty much outsource everything. So my costs are higher, but you could, if you were physically going to build it out, you could probably do it for that or less.
Okay. Yeah. And again, you know, even if I put it to 10, like it's not a huge, you know, it doesn't
right. But I know you guys are looking to scale, so that's why, you know, you add that $2,000 over 5 or 10 units, you know, that's 10 to 20 grand. That's another unit that you guys could be banging out.
Yeah, definitely. But all right, cool. Yeah, I mean,
now were you, Danny? You weren't in? Are you in Philly? Did I mix that up?
I just graduated from college in Philly, so I lived there for the past 4 years. And now I'm
okay. So you know that market pretty good then, like the areas.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's the type of place where like, you know, a few streets one way versus another way could lead you into a completely different part of, you know, completely different kind of feel of the area. But, you know, before like from my home in New Jersey, it takes me an hour to get into Philly. I can pretty easily go up and, you know, drive the streets, and we're going to go see the property in person and check out the neighborhood and everything besides there. But, you know, I checked out there's a good amount of Airbnbs like on that same street or within a couple of streets that all seem to do relatively well and are run pretty professionally. So to me, you know, that's proof of concept. As much as it's competition, it's also proof that the model's working for others. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the guys I was in Puerto Rico with, he's got, I don't know, 20 or 30 listings in Philly.
Yeah.
I think he's like developing buildings now, like old brick buildings or something. Now he's like converting them. But
sure.
If you guys decide that you like that market, I'm happy to make the intro for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can pick his brain.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because I think just in terms of proximity to me and the fact that we both, Chad also knows, you know, he grew up in New Jersey and knows the Philly market pretty well as well. So we're definitely, you know, just from a convenience standpoint, that would be a great one to look into. So I'll contact you at another point to see if we could, you know, get connected with him.
Sure. And just again, because Philly's a pretty good sized city, are there any regs that you guys need to pay attention to there?
Yeah, so it seems like we just need, you know, the typical state, county, city business licenses. And then, so this is something I think I may have posted in the Facebook page, or I think I found out the answer, but for certain types of properties, they have a 180-day cap. And I'm going to call the 180-day cap on the amount of days out of a year you're allowed to rent out a short-term rental. But assuming what I was reading was, you know, I think I found a couple answers. I'm going to call the city just to confirm this, but I think so long as the property is not your primary residence, you can rent it out, you know, as a full-time Airbnb, just so long as you have the relevant licenses and inspections all done. So I think it's just pretty normal. Hopefully not too much of a delay and, you know, the time in getting approved for all the licenses and whatnot.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? That's
Makes
actually
sense.
something I meant to ask you. So in like certain places in Florida, like certain municipalities, you're allowed to, from the time that you apply for a vacation rental license to the time that you get it, let's say it's like 4 weeks, you're allowed to rent out the property on what some municipalities call a conditional license. But in a lot of places that I've looked at, you do have to wait until you get approved, which, you know, of course makes sense as well. Have you run into any problems with delays of that sort and any kind of like, you know, governmental?
I may or may not have done it anyway, just because I wasn't aware of it, to be totally honest with you.
Sure.
For the Florida one, just getting like so for Florida, I had to paper mail a form to do business in the state. Like, I'm like, I got the lady on the phone. I'm like, can I just email this to you? She's like, no. I'm like, can I fax it to you? She's like, no, you need to mail it to me. I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then it'll be 4 weeks for us to process it. And I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, okay, well, we're live and I'm not going to shut it down. So enjoy taking your holiday. But I haven't had any backlash on that. So I don't know. It's, again, I could be more aggressive than some folks. My wife is more conservative and she's giving me the evil eye right now, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
But they're all still trying to figure it out, to be totally honest with you. Like Florida's got it dialed in, but most other places right now, they're just trying to figure out what to do with us and how to regulate it and how to get everybody like permitted or whatever they want to do with it. And as long as I'm calling them and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to play ball here. Like, tell me what you need and I'll do it. And as long as they know, like, I'm not like trying to duck them or be shady or fly under the radar. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm waving my hand. Like, you tell me what you need and I'll get it done for you. You know, I'm good with it.
Right. I mean, we're not the type of guys that are worried about they're trying to scheme this or avoid payments or taxes or anything. We're just trying to do it as fast as possible.
Exactly. And a lot of the just municipalities in general are not known for their expediency, quite frankly. So
no, they are not. But all right, cool.
But yeah, hopefully that
we'll,
was helpful as far as looking at the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll look to, still with all conservative estimates, it's showing good cash flow. So we're going to move forward on this, and hopefully by your next post of your the weekly success stories, hopefully we'll have something up and running. But the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
All right, great.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. I'm just going to check the Facebook group real quick. Ed, I know you can ask your question. I'm just going to keep searching through the group, make sure I get everything covered, but fire away.
Okay, thanks. Should be a quick one. The August lock drop contact, this last booking as well. I had the cleaner go up and check the plug for the connect was in, and it seems like it is. But when I was up there setting it up, it said it had a very low Bluetooth, and it's right by the lock. I don't have really any other plug sockets around it. I may have to put some in, but it's really close to the lock. I was just wondering if you had any experience with that, because I had it happen a couple of times, and then it's like I have to go back up there to get the connection back to do anything remote. I can tell people I'm telling people the long-term codes, which I don't really want to do because they're.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I haven't had that issue, to be honest with you. I've had more of an issue with the newer locks that I've been using, but I mean, just so as an example, right? So like I got lucky, I had a plug right there.
Yeah. That's where mine is too. Right underneath.
But even like here, like there's a plug over here, like it's not that far away and it would work. So if you keep having, like you might want to call August, because it could just be a defective connect.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else is having those issues, but I don't remember having like connectivity. The only pain in the butt that I would get would be like making sure that I got the batteries on like a schedule, because it'll notify you when they get low, but I kind of like to stay ahead of it. But that, and then people just not reading emails. So I kind of gave up on setting up their app access and just send them a code, because they just didn't read.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing that too. I'm setting up an app code for people who haven't done that. Yeah, this one's an odd one. I've seen a lot online of people complaining about the Bluetooth part of it. The wireless signal's great, but the Bluetooth, not so much. Even an engineer took one apart and said, like, this is a really terrible Bluetooth device. But it's like, apart from that, it's been great. It's been awesome until it didn't work. I don't want to have to drive there every time it goes down. That's
no,
challenge.
Absolutely not.
But maybe the cleaner might be able to, I don't know if she can reconnect it. Then I'd have to give her access to the August account. Anyway, maybe I'll just put a weird plug socket in that's like right next to the lock.
Well, usually it was saying, if it was, you would get a notification that you've lost connection. Is that what you're getting?
No, it just won't connect to the lock. The connect can't connect to the actual lock. and it's the Yale one with the plugin, not the August lock itself. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. But
No,
when I
but
set it up, it had a very.
You put the red little chip in it, right?
That's right. Yeah, the little cartridge at the top. Yeah, and it was weak, and I've tried it in a couple of places, and it was weak kind of everywhere, and then it seemed to work for a while. It just at some point dropped off. And the lock itself is fine. People with existing codes can use it, and they can use permanent codes, but I can't set up any new ones because the connect that bridges the Wi-Fi to the lock through Bluetooth isn't connecting to the lock. So it must be the connect. Anyway, it's a little frustrating, but less so than my current guest.
I didn't have that issue. I would probably call August, and I apologize because there's probably gonna be some 1-800 number that you're gonna be on the phone for half an hour of your life. But I think that they're probably gonna have to like either send you a new one or troubleshoot it however they can do it. Because I would also explain, like, listen, I live 3 hours away.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Yeah, I run a vacation rental. I rely on you. I'm building a business here. I'm not getting a good first impression. I've heard good things about you guys, but this is not working out. They've been very good. Like, I've had a lock defect on me, and they sent me a new one. They didn't even ask me to send the other one back. So,
okay.
At least for August. I don't know about the Yale, but I would call them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try that. I can always do other work while I'm on hold to people. It's fine. Okay.
All right.
And would you suggest taking my conversation from text onto the main line now? I'm just going in there now and saying, okay, this is a better place to chat. And
yes.
Here's your
100%.
pictures of your mess. Okay. Cool. Thank you, boss.
No problem. Let's see what else we got for questions in here. I'm just scrolling through the Facebook group here, guys, making sure that we answered all these questions. I think all of them were from you guys that were on the phone. So we are in good shape. Quick question for you guys. Who here, let me word it another way. Who here has plans to go beyond 5 units in 2020?
Me.
Okay, I can only see 1 out of 7 people. Okay.
Yes.
Jamie.
Us as well.
Lucas. Okay. Jamie B, you guys are just doing with the vacation rental. Cool. Yep. Beautiful. The reason I'm asking, so the one thing that I'm working on for Q1 that will be coming out in the next few weeks, the challenge that I had when I wanted to go from, quite frankly, up to like beyond 5 units was the August system, and a lot of these things were great up to a certain point. But as you continue to scale, I basically I had to create a new system for myself. The challenge with that system is they don't even let you buy it until you have at least 10 units. Like you couldn't go and buy what I have now. Like they won't sell it to you. So I'm working on creating a new program that would basically allow students that go through the program, work with me, where I would basically onboard your properties into my system until you got enough, and then you could go off on your own. So I'm just trying to figure out the logistics, and I've been having some calls with those companies to see, can I grant you access to just your listings, and then you can manage them. It's on my platform, but at least it gets you access so that you don't have to relearn a new system like I did after you already had 10 listings, because it's a pain in the ass to convert all of those onto a new system at that point. So that's something that I'm working on. I'm only going to pilot it for probably like 10 students though. So that's why I want to just get a sense. I know that some other folks that were not on here were talking about it. So it looks like Jamie and Lucas, you guys are interested, Ed possibly. which is fine. There's no pressure either way. I just wanted to get a feeler out there for who is looking to go to that level and who's looking for different reasons, which is totally fine.
Chat,
so I'll keep you.
Definitely interested.
Yep, for sure. For sure. And Daniel and Chad, what you and I were talking about is probably going to morph into this other thing that I'm looking into now. And I'll keep you guys posted on that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because I think that it'll kind of be a nice gateway to transition into getting beyond 10 units, quite frankly. So anyway, I know that's not a lot of info, but a little teaser. I just wanted to get a feel out there for you guys to see who would be interested in that, and I will keep you guys posted. So any last questions before we get out of here and start rocking it in 2020? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and congrats on all your successes. Ed, I know it doesn't feel like success, but it is a big success to get through the first pain in the ass guest, I assure you. So,
oh, it does. I feel it in there. I made an offer on another one in December too. I was almost at 2 by now, but they put it on hold. I'm not going to stop. It's not going to put me off. I want to get the right growth and learning out of it, because I know that is in me, and that's the main thing.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out, playing full out as always, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Happy New Year.
Thanks,
Mike.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.